It's Saturday morning. We're coming to you here live from Bates Hollow and Bates Nursery and Garden Center and the Green Room Studios here at Bates Nursery and Garden Center. It is a glorious day. Everyone should already have their Easter Bunny traps out. This is a no excuses kind of day, David.
Yeah,
Bates.
it really is because all the conditions are favorable. Everything is just wonderful. Just give it a look.
Yep.
What do you say? Today is, of course, as you mentioned, Saturday, the 30th of March.
Wow.
This month is almost over.
Yeah.
But it's going to go out wonderfully. 79 degrees and mostly sunny conditions today. I mean, to get out and do anything in the out of doors, it's going to be just spectacular. Not the least of which may be your gardening efforts. And we hope to be able to help you with respect to that over the next hour. Tomorrow is Sunday, and it's going to be 82 and some clouds roll in. And those clouds hang around into Monday, where late in the day we may get a few little sprinkles. Still going to be 80 on Monday, 76 on Tuesday, and a bit of rain. And then Wednesday arrives, and the cold temperatures come back.
No. Cancel that order.
Again?
Cancel it.
54-38 on Wednesday, 58-34 on Thursday. Are you listening, Adam Chapman? And
Frosty Chapman.
64-38. I was hoping we were going to see no less than 38 across the board, but that is not the case. But at this moment, all is wonderful. 55 degrees, and if you've been reading what I put forth on newsletters, you know I have been cautioning folks about premature planting of garden plants.
Yes.
A lot of people are greatly interested, and we're really pleased for that interest. But you need to throttle it back just a little bit. It's
Pump the brakes.
Yeah, pump the brakes just a little bit. It's okay to buy them, but just you don't want to get out there and commit to it just yet. One thing you do want to commit to, as we here at Bates Nursery and Garden Center is the Painting the Greenways event going on at Shelby Bottoms. That will be coming up in a month, April 25th to 28th. And so you can go out to, let me show you how to get there. Go to greenwaysfornashville.org. And once you go there, you simply go to the events page and go down to Painting the Greenways. Paint your little mouse in that little spot. Painting the Greenways, and the art show and sale does go on. And that's out at the McCabe Golf Course Clubhouse, which is right there more or less just beyond the railroad trestle that runs overhead.
The 19th hole, as it were.
What it could be that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they serve any beverages there, but it's a nature center, more or less.
They got paintings, though. They will have paintings.
Well,
Yes.
possibly. They will have paintings for sure. And what they're going to have is this event coming up. And, of course, it's this event is brought to you by the Chestnut Group, which are the artists involved in this event. Of course, Greenways for Nashville and Bates Nursery and Garden Center. So remember, check that out, greenwaysfornashville.com, and just go over to where the events are. Go down to where it says Painting the Greenways.
Yes.
And we encourage you to support a lot of great-looking artwork. And there's a few images there, and I can't tell you which one of those may be my bride's.
I
but
think I see one.
I think that looks like one, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
No, I don't think. No.
The one above it. It looks more like her.
Anyway, you'll have to come out.
They're
and
all
see.
good, though. My goodness.
As a matter of fact, there are so many stellar artists involved with the Chestnut Group. It's a worthwhile thing just to come out and take a look. And, of course, all these are for sale, and they all benefit Greenways for Nashville. So make sure you come check that out, April 25th through 28th.
Absolutely.
And we'll be talking more of that as we get closer to it. Speaking of talking more about, let's talk about the people who are here on with us, Josh. You know, it's more than just you and I.
Them?
Yeah, them being Caroline Gant, Austin Lowen. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Great to have you aboard. Of course, Tyler Blankenship across the way.
Tyler Cam.
You already saw his head.
Okay. There he is. He's the one that makes it all happen. And at the 11th hour, gets
Connected it to Facebook.
Yeah,
Hey,
it made it happen.
Yes, it did.
So,
He did.
Yep. Enjoy that one. And also sorry for my head cameo.
That's okay.
I loved it.
It all
Thought it was
works.
great.
And I guess we need to go ahead and get the unfortunate news out of the way, Josh.
Oh.
Do we need to? Is it time for that? Or?
I think it's time.
Let's just get it out
Rip
of the
the
way.
Band-Aid off.
Josh, just tell us, man.
Um,
Don't make me cry.
the legendary Mr. Wu, Tamukiyama Japanese maple, who helped raise my children. We bought this wonderful tree from Bates Nursery the first year we moved into our current abode at the Proving Grounds there in Smyrna, Tennessee. He didn't wake up. He didn't.
Went to sleep and didn't wake up.
Yep. He just. But we've lost lost Mr.
Well,
Wu. It's
now,
okay. It's okay.
Do we have any idea of what the cause of this is, Josh?
I would. I'm going to venture a guess because you never know about these things because it could have been anything. But I think the fact that we had the tree removal service blowing very hot exhaust on Mr. Wu.
That's never a good thing.
It might have had.
I have seen that happen before. I've seen at least a whole side get
And
burned
it
out
was
of
it was a
one.
slow death, and it was we thought he would come back after last year, but he did.
Gone but not forgotten.
No, he will live in our memories forever.
Rip Mr. Wu. All right. Well, okay. We got that
Saw
over
it.
with.
Really
We did.
good.
So sorry.
Mrs. Wu may be out there on the
Oh,
lot.
there's a lot of good ones out there. There's a lot to choose from.
That Yasuba from Isley out there, the one it's a green lace leaf
Yeah.
with the little red tips on it. Oh my!
I think you found your Mrs. Wu.
Mrs. Wu.
I think
could,
you did.
Maybe.
Hey, speaking of things that we have here, y'all, K&M, our big giant tropical
It finally
shipment
got
is here.
Uh-oh.
And it's a lot. It is a lot. And it looks so good this year. So we've got tropical hibiscus, mandevilla, lots of
Ferns.
different elephant ear. Yes,
Ferns,
so
ferns.
many ferns.
Hanging baskets.
Probably at least
pots.
500
Yes,
ferns.
we got racks of them that we've still got kind of stashed because we haven't. They came in kind of later yesterday. We've been hoping for them all week.
Right.
And there's just still something to be said about that big front porch with hanging ferns on it. I mean, it's just classic. Yeah, it's just green, not a lot of flower power, but hey, it's just that
Or a
classic.
couple of pots with machos in it.
Oh.
Really, I mean, they're just really spectacular.
What
So-
an Easter gift for someone.
Yep. So anyway, come on out. We got all that in. We are racing at this very moment to try to resolve getting all those things as completely out and display as we can. They did arrive late, so we didn't get them all off the rack. So we're going to be working on it. So just come on out.
Yes, we will. But
And you can
a lot
help
of it
us. You
is.
can just take them right off the rack if you want.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just take the whole rack.
We'll load it into the back of
that.
your truck. Yeah.
There's that.
Done.
There's that.
I would love somebody to do that.
That would be.
Buy the whole rack. But yeah, we've got some stuff in studio today that did come in that truck, which we will talk about later.
All right.
So you've got to watch the whole show. But let's dive into questions unless anyone
Okay.
else has anything. Nope.
Let's go.
All right. So our first question might solve a little bit of conflict that we've had on the show. So
Conflict on
let's
this
see.
show?
I know. Imagine that. That is wild. Can I pair my clematis with another flowering vine looking to have longer bloom time?
Well,
You know where I'm going with that.
yeah. I don't see why not. I mean, you know, the Carolina jessamine right now is blooming like pretty much now, and then clematis will be after that. And then, hey,
Crossvine?
pair it with crossvine that Caroline would love. Put them all together.
I feel like that would be stunning.
Yeah, the only issue I have with that is that the clematis has an unfair advantage as far as its ability to grow and grow rapidly. The crossvine is a much slower grower. I'm afraid it might get choked out by the more aggressive growing vine. Austin, what do you think about that?
You know, I don't know that they would get choked out or not. I think they would kind of live together. I think
Subdued.
one would, yes, one
Held down to submission.
one would probably do better than the other, depending on which one does it. I mean, but getting them all on the same trellis, make sure you spread them out at least a little bit, give them room to grow up or whatever on a maybe a wide trellis. But hey, if you want to do it, why not? Put them close together, let them fight it out. See what happens.
I might try it. I kind
You
of
know
want to
what?
see. I've got a clematis planted right now, which is doing great. It's about to bloom. Well, it's got buds, but it'll be a minute before it blooms. But I could plant a crossvine right beside it and let them intertwine and see what happens.
my little suggestion that I made to Monrovia some years ago about utilizing the best of both worlds of Carolina jasmine and swamp jasmine, which are first cousins. They look almost identical foliage-wise. They just flower at different times. And I suggested they plant those together
Yes.
and call them double shot.
Double shot.
And
Okay.
they do that. They have been doing it for a lot of years. I have received zero royalties.
Compensation?
No.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what's up.
I didn't even get a footnote on the website, but that's okay.
That's okay.
I'm not bitter about it.
Yeah.
Not at all. Not at
Obviously,
all.
I've gotten over it.
It is a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about blueberry bushes for a moment.
Okay.
Somebody has a blueberry bush that has buds but isn't flowering yet. They're asking, should I do something to help it along? I mean, that's exactly where mine is right now.
Yeah, no, you're in the same boat as everybody. They haven't
Patience.
quite. Yeah, patience is key with this. With all plants, really, patience is key. They will open. They're in bud form right now. They haven't opened yet, so
Yeah.
they will.
And they're
Just
going
wait
to be
it out.
so nice when they open. I think blueberry bushes are very
cute.
pretty. They're
Yes.
not only edible and great to eat, but also really cute. And
My blueberries full bloom right now.
So am
Nice,
I.
Tyler.
Sunshine
Look at
blue
you.
and climax.
Tyler Cam is so close today.
peas.
Sorry, and I love
Sorry,
it.
let me back
He is
up.
Ready for his close-ups,
Pink
CBD.
lemonade blueberries have not even stirred at all.
Really, my pink lemonade are all budded up.
Yeah.
Well, I'll trade with you because I want those sooner.
Yeah. Well, that's
you
the
can't
thing
have
with,
it.
with blueberries. They bloom at different times, like depending on the cultivar, you know. So when you are out here and you're picking blueberries, we all should know at this point anyway that you need 2 different cultivars of blueberry for them to produce adequate fruit for you. So if you're out there shopping for blueberries, find a couple that are in bloom at the same time, or at least their buds are in the same stage. That way they'll open up at the same time and then pollen can transfer.
That is what we call a clue.
There it is. You know what happened to mine that was next to my pink lemonade?
It froze.
I got mowed down
Oh.
a couple weeks ago by my lawn guy.
That
Took
guy,
it
he
right
needs
out.
a talking to.
No, I need a talking to. I got to be better at marking stuff. I have plants everywhere, and it wasn't very big, but he took out my climax blueberry.
Yeah.
So,
Great.
I mean, there's still a stem about an inch high, but I don't know if.
It'll probably come out,
Right.
but I think it's beyond the climax point.
I think it definitely is. Far past that. We've got one of Austin's favorite plants to talk
Uh-oh.
about now, which I planted last year. I planted 4 Sun King Aurelia in a woodland area last year. It's a new plant to me. Should I be seeing some signs of life at this point?
No, not
Mine
at
is
all.
peaking.
Yours is?
Yes.
Mine's not showing any
It was
signs
peaking
yet.
before the freeze we got. What was it, last week or so that we had to cover for? It was not huge, but it was about this big. I had to really look for it, and it whacked it back to the ground. But
Yeah.
now it's already back up.
See, mine's in like a very cold spot of my yard. It's like during the wintertime, it's kind of that shady, real shady,
Low.
cold spot. Yeah, it's like gets a lot of wind. So mine hasn't started waking up yet. And they come back from the ground, y'all. So, you know, if you have old stems that are still up, you can go ahead and take those, cut them back. And then you'll start seeing, like Caroline said, you'll start seeing these little buds form at the very base of the ground. And they're usually red. And then they'll start to poke up foliage. But yeah, mine have not started yet. Caroline's have just started. Yours are probably on its way. That's an excellent, excellent plant. I'm sure it's coming back for you. Good job planting that one. Oh, it's so good.
I can't wait until mine are huge. I think you put up a picture of yours last year of your little penny in front of it. It's a giant
They're
shrub.
so big. It's amazing. From the ground, how big they get in one season is incredible. Good plant to grow.
Good plant to grow. Y'all, we talked about azaleas a little bit, but we got a question about one. Azalea looking yellow and losing leaves. Love it or leave it?
Do you love it? Or do you want to leave it?
Does
That's-
it give you joy?
Yes, does it? At the moment, it doesn't seem like it does. Now, all azaleas do senesce a little bit, so yellow and drop leaves from the interior, typically this time of year. I mean, it's time to shed a little bit. That's what they do. Now, we want to make sure that, I don't know if buds are forming. It should be blooming here soon. Probably not quite, but it's probably budded up and ready to bloom. Hopefully new leaves come out clean and green. If they don't, let's get them some fertilizer, maybe some hollytone to get some acidity back in that soil, because as we know, azaleas are acid-loving plants. We can do that to help it along a little bit, but hopefully it's just that natural shed that azaleas do.
Yeah, and I think it would be appropriate for most azaleas, particularly in our area, to be further described as semi-broadleaf. And of course, you alluded to that. But they frequently drop a significant amount of foliage just prior to blooming, and that's true with a great many different plants. Magnolia are the ones that you see around the landscape that they're done with all this interior and lower down foliage. They're ready to push out new. They got to get rid of that so they can push all that energy towards opening flowers and forcing new growth.
Lots of pines do the same thing.
Pines do the same thing. Yeah. So every year the pines start to shed, and people ask, "Are they dying?" They look like they're dying, but no, they're just shedding.
Where do you get pine needles from?
Exactly.
They're not dead pine trees; they're just shedding.
Just shedding.
Hey, Miriam wants to know how much sun machos can take.
Hey, Miriam.
Good morning, Miriam.
It was good to see Miriam night before last. She and Bob. It happened to run into them, so always great to see you, dear friend.
Yes.
Bob.
We got to have Miriam back on the show soon.
We do.
We need another lady in this room.
Miriam, come out. We got macho ferns that look awesome. Come out and see
We
us
do,
today. Go
and
on
they
get you
can
some.
handle some sun.
They can. Not too much.
Not a ton. Kimberly Queen, I would say, can handle the most. Next is Macho, and then Boston.
And it helps a lot if you can get them introduced to whatever sun you're going to give them earlier. That way they have a better chance of adjustment. But they cannot adjust to full afternoon sun. That's just too much. But they're you'll know right away if you've overdone it because, well, they're going to scorch.
Yeah.
They're going to look black, and then all you can do at that point is remove the fronds that look bad and continue to clean on them. They will adjust, but don't overdo it.
I think that's an excellent point, though, is like to get them started and adjusted like pretty much now. Like we've got them in, and you can leave them in. You typically leave machos in pots. We typically do that. So next Thursday night or whatever it was, if we're seeing that 34, just run them in the house for the night,
Right.
But then keeping them out during the day when we had these good days, of sunlight, but not like intense summer heat sunlight. You know what I mean? So like. Great point. Getting them out and getting them started to be adjusted, I think, is a really good point.
And maybe just throwing a sheet over them, probably enough. You don't. We're not talking about freezing conditions, except if you're in an outlying area like Bates Nursery is, where we have to do all of the extra things to protect the plants we've got. And we got a couple.
And just because you've got a little bit of shade right now where you want to put them, notice where the sun moves across the sky because it's going to be different in July.
Definitely. Yeah, that sun changes a lot. Way up higher in the sky, shines on stuff a lot more than it does this time of year. So getting it out and acclimated is a good way to go. Miriam, come out and see us today.
Yes,
I miss
please
you.
come out and see us and get you some macho ferns. Those are my favorite kind of like annual ferns. They're so pretty.
They are pretty.
So macho.
KS
so
Mas
big.
Macho.
Let's talk roses. Is it too late to trim my roses back?
No, it's not too late. I mean, I actually trimmed mine literally like 4 days ago because they got big and long and leggy early in the season, and I didn't want that growth habit. I really wanted them tighter, so I went ahead and cut mine back, even though they had leaves. Here at the nursery, we cut back roses throughout the whole season. Like if they start to get too big, leggy, say the climbers start to get out of bounds, and when we haven't sold them and they're still sitting here, we'll take them back. So roses are you can really do it a lot of times of the year, but go ahead and get it done. Go ahead and do it.
And particularly with shrub roses.
Yeah.
You know why, Josh?
They're
shrubs.
They're shrubs.
You can trim them a
Yes.
lot. That's the way that works.
They like a haircut.
They really do.
They really do.
Keeps them tight and
The
full.
shrubs
That's how you want those blooms. It's really nice and tight atop the shrub.
And they're
I
growing
didn't-
machines as well. So.
Yeah. I didn't cut my knockout when I first planted it for years before I knew more about shrubs and outdoor. And it got giant. And I remember the first time I cut it that season, I was like, wow, so much better, so many more blooms. And it just wasn't leggy and all out of control and
drift
grabbing you.
roses may be a better choice for a
Yes.
lot of people because they just don't get so large.
Semi-pro tip, do not use the flexible hose types. That's flexible type hoses around knockout roses. Don't do it.
It'll pop 'em.
It'll don't even run it near it. I mean, you get it within 3 feet, it'll pop a hole.
If it sees it, it'll spring a hole.
That's what they live for, right?
Popping holes. Okay, is it too soon to start planting herbs such as sage, oregano, and thyme?
Okay, those three specifically, no, it is not too early. Those three are perennial herbs around here. I have had creeping time up all winter long, never went dormant. Parsley's another one that rarely goes dormant. It'll definitely look bad over the wintertime and start to get some nasty leaves, but then they push back really, really quickly. A lot of herbs are perennial around here, so
cilantro.
That's an early one.
Yeah.
You need to get it in early so it doesn't bolt so quick in the summer.
Right.
But we've got all those herbs actually right now, so come on out and get some. I got sage popping up. It's salvia, sage, whatever, and I've got the ornamental type, but it's already coming up. It's wanting to even try to throw buds to bloom. So anyway, go get your herbs and then get something else to go with it.
That's exactly right. Great segue, Austin.
man.
What he's talking about is Earth Mix garden products.
Absolutely.
And if you're into gardening, and of course you are, you wouldn't be tuned in if you're not.
Hey.
Earth Mix Garden Products gives you the tools, takes the work out of gardening, and almost guarantees success simply because you give plants all the things they need, except for sunshine and water. All you got to do is just either use the product straight out of the bag, as is the case with Earth Mix Garden or Earth Mix Proganics O, or add high quality amendments such as Supernatural if you're an organic gardener. Maybe you've got soil that you put in last year and it just needs to be revitalized.
Pop it.
Add some Supernatural to it. It's going to be growing great guns for whatever you plant. And of course, things such as Proganics O, Proganics I are ready to use mixes. Proganics I specifically for indoor plants, O for outdoor. So no matter what your gardening selection is, there is an Earth Mix products for you. One of the biggest sellers we have is Earth Mix Landscaping. Josh, guess what that is used for?
Landscaping.
Very good. He is a quick study, folks. So
Proud of you.
no matter what you're trying to grow, Earth Mix Garden products give you the very best, 100% organic. There are no chemical additives whatsoever, and you're going to be assured of having the plants that don't just hang on and survive; they really thrive. So check it out. There are a lot of places to get Earth Mix. If you click on the Find Earth Mix tab, you'll see now we've got a location way out west. That is at Victory Gardens Nursery out that's near Boise. It's actually Meridian is like a suburb of Boise.
Just to the west.
It's like Smyrna.
Kind of like that, yeah. So
Okay.
make sure you go out and support those great folks at Victory Gardens Nursery. And of course,
They have a good coffee stand there, too.
and there are a plethora of locations here in Middle Tennessee, Kentucky, Northern Alabama. Check us out, Millstone. I have to scoot the page up to get to see that. Millstone Market
Scoot the
Nursery.
earth down.
They just got their second shipment this week, so I know they're fully stocked. And there's
cool.
we've got shipments going out daily to one location or another. So we're really grateful for all of those that are in our Earth Mix network. If you want to see that whole list, you can go by location, scroll down by either the state. There's those in Kentucky, Alabama, and there's Idaho. So check all those out, and you can find out exactly what they carry.
Wow.
And make your plans. You can also do turn-by-turn directions. Put your address in the box, and it'll give you the location nearest you.
Cool.
Do remember this. Success in gardening begins at the ground level when you use Earth Mix garden products. And we appreciate you giving us a moment to talk about that and to help you have success and take the work out of gardening. You know, gardening is supposed to be a happy occasion. It's not supposed to be filled with frustration. And there are things that are frustrating. The growth of plants in the planting process should not be one of them. So use Earth Mix, and your results will be predictably good.
And by the way, if you go to the upper right-hand corner of the Facebook page, or the
Website page?
that thing. That thing up there. If your independent garden center near you doesn't have Earth Mix, ask them to just, they might consider putting it in for you.
And also, if you don't know how much you need, you can click on the soil calculator. It'll tell you how many bags you need of whatever particular product you're looking for. So check those tools out at earthmix.net. So thank you for giving us a moment to discuss.
Yes.
Help you with your gardening efforts.
And now we're going to check out
What's in Bloom
with Austin.
Oh, I'm first today?
You're first today.
Well, okay, here we go, y'all. Creeping phlox, still going. Tyler, throw up that picture right
Creeping phlox.
Uh-huh.
Are you
This is for
talking
Renee.
about Renee's?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Miss Renee Bates. Look at this. Oh, people call it thrift. Look at that.
That's stunning.
That's creeping phlox, and that's what it does, y'all. Every single year without a problem.
And
Just grows.
That's
Carpet.
Mine and
Blooming
Renee's
carpet.
Mine and Renee's buddy, Bo. That's hers.
All right, Bo, you're doing good. I love that creeping phlox. Everybody does. Hey, Candy Tufts goes along with it. It's that white blooming little evergreen. You see, hey. I don't know if that Candy does. And then, hey, a little cousin of creeping phlox is the woodland phlox. We brought some in the studio today. Those little purple flowers you see in the woods right now that are just blooming, and you're like, what is that? I don't even know.
Call this.
But they're kind of everywhere. It's the woodland phlox. It's so good. It's a native around here. Looks great. Hey, we brought in a feature plant, our columbine today, that's spinning around on our Lazy Susan. It's so good.
Caught me off guard.
One
Hold
of the
on.
prettiest blooms on the planet.
Scattering him around.
It is just so different.
Boom.
Look at that.
Wow.
You
on
never
the
seen
turntable.
a bloom like that. It's so good. Look at that. Oh, columbine. I just love it. Everybody does. Hey, those Bridal Spirea, the quince, the forsythia, still going, almost on its way out, but still going. Pears, Josh, Bradford Pears. Still going. Okay, moving on. Cherry trees, still going, but almost done. They looked great this year. But you know, the real showstoppers this year were those red buds and really the
Yes.
crab apples.
Crab apples.
Talked
Crab
about it
apples.
last week, but crab apples have been money this year.
I don't think I've ever seen crab apples be as outstanding as they have been this year.
They're so good. Our tree lot has them. We brought some up for display. People can't even take their eyes off of them. They're just like, okay, I didn't even know I needed a
I
crab
saw
apple
somebody
tree.
trip over their own shoelace the other day because they were looking
Yeah.
at the crab apple.
It's not a joke. Like, you cannot ignore them, okay? Hey, moving on to dogwoods. They just opened, like literally yesterday. They still have that kind of creamy yellow look to them right now. They're about to go that pure white, but they have opened. Next week, we will, I'm sure, be talking about dogwood because they are full show. And then, hey, shout out to our general manager, Adam Chapman, of like 24 years here at Bates. What an awesome guy, and what he loves to grow more than anything is serviceberry trees. Your serviceberries are in bloom, y'all. They certainly are. Tyler, we got a pick we can throw up.
I'm
Go on
getting
and get it.
I'm getting it.
From Mr. Chapman, the
And
GM.
serving it.
Yes, that's his.
Oh.
That's actually his at his house. He grows them every year, and he harvests them before the birds do. He is a diligent man. He does what he has to do when he knows he has to do it, because he knows those birds are coming in for those serviceberry.
And I can't wait for those muffins.
I know.
Or the
think
coffee cake.
Trees,
I
yes.
think he needs to, after harvesting this year, consider cutting them back because, you know,
a little tall. As tall as he is.
he's a tall guy,
Yeah.
but
He is.
those are getting beyond the reach.
And we can get him a cherry picker. It'll be fine.
Yep. Good job, Adam. Thanks for that pick. Serviceberries blooming. Hey, pansies are still going. I was looking at mine last night. My pansies are so juiced and beautiful right now. They are fantastic. And then the shout out, my final one of the day is your lilacs are blooming this year, y'all. Hey, lucky we're about as far south, really, as lilacs want to grow. They love it up north. They love the cold weather. They need a certain amount of chill hours, cold hours over the winter to produce those blooms. They had it this year, and your lilacs are stunning this year. Go outside and smell yours. They're fantastic.
Yep, mine's open.
That's what's in bloom.
Perfect.
Very
that was
good.
great.
Go, awesome.
Hey,
Just
here we
one
go.
after the other.
Just
Hey, guys.
nailing it. What?
Hey guys.
Thanks, Tyler. Thanks,
Well
Tyler.
We're proud of
deserved.
you.
Yes, thank
Well
you.
deserved.
Is Colin day drinking?
Okay.
That would be morning drinking right
Morning
there.
drinking?
Yeah.
He says he's having warm London fog with some lavender infused simple syrup. That phenomenal lever that y'all recommend is phenomenal.
Oh,
Wow.
wow. Colin, that
London
sounds like a
fog?
great
London
morning.
fog is
It's like a black tea.
Is a
Yeah.
Earl Grey
Yes.
tea latte.
Yeah.
Man, y'all are
okay.
Well, you're drinking
Colin,
Earl
bring
Grey,
us
aren't
some
you?
next
All right,
week.
every week.
Yes.
Hey, speaking of
It's
Colin and some of
so
our viewers,
refined.
we've got some photos to throw out.
Really?
So let's
Yep,
go ahead and get
except-
to them. We've got Colin's photo, actually.
Hang on
Oh,
a minute,
Tyler.
cowgirl.
Yeah, you got to give him a little more segue than that. Just a little bit.
We're just going to sit here.
It's
I'm
okay.
looking at Tyler.
Okay.
Colin's just
it's-
sipping his
it's-
fancy tea.
He
It's
is.
really worth it,
He's
though.
waiting.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, I
spiked.
forgot.
I'll
You
bet.
feel the satisfaction building, the
forgot one.
anticipation.
Did you
I
forget
forgot
this
one.
one?
Now I see it. Tulips are blooming.
Yes, tulips
I'm sorry.
are blooming.
Colin,
No, we're gonna make up for this.
what a beautiful picture. Oh, you know,
Yeah.
tulips are like the most sought after flower on the planet. Like, I mean,
Are they really?
Them and roses, like they, yeah, to me.
I've
They were
heard
traded
Dutchmen
as
scour the earth.
currency back in the day.
Yes.
Weren't they, David Bates?
Well, there was a tulip thing that happened back in the, I guess it was in the
16s?
16 or
16s,
1700s. Yeah, it was way back. But
One of the earliest market crashes or something.
yes, it was. But the Dutch did recover.
They did.
Yes.
And they keep churning out the
They
tulips.
do
and
indeed.
Colin, you put them exactly how you should do tulips. You don't do one or two. You do a mass like that, and then
Yes.
look, my God, you got pansies down below it.
Absolutely.
Colin, you're pretty good, bud. Just
Yeah.
sip that fancy tea
We're proud of you,
and
Colin.
look at those tulips.
And when the tulips are gone, the pansies are going to come up, and then when it starts getting hot, those will come out, and you'll go with warm stuff. So
I can't
see
wait
a
to see
hint
what
of-
you fill in after those tulips are done. What are you going to go with? We need to talk about this, Colin.
We do
Come
need
out.
to talk about it.
There's
All
so
right,
many
we
options.
got some more photos to throw up. Let's go ahead and
Okay.
get those next ones up.
All these
Colin,
photos today.
beautiful.
Hey.
Oh, Miriam.
Miriam.
Miriam is just on fire this morning.
Talking
Statement of
about,
beauty.
yeah, come on.
And we do have one more from Miriam.
Okay.
There it is. She's got an amaryllis in bloom.
stargazer.
Oh,
Look at that.
I love amaryllis too.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's just so
my
weird, you know.
my dear bride Renee is an amaryllis aficionado. She
Oh.
grows and divides them and repots them. And so anyway, there will be many more along the way. So yeah, they're a really wonderful.
Oh,
Sorry.
got a little
Spilled
preview
it-
of what's
spilled it.
next.
What's next?
We've got some stunning photos from our friend Sam Boyette up here with the cute dog in it, which we just got to see. So let's go ahead. There it is.
Oh,
So we talked about
Sam.
tulips a little while
The
ago. We
dog
got
is-
more.
The dog is convinced it's
The dog
all
is the
about him.
feature, yeah, in this photo.
Oh, Sam brings his dog out here all the time. It's a lovely dog. So well behaved, and Sam is so cool. And look at that scene, Sam. You've
It's
done something magical.
Stunning. That looks like Fine Gardening magazine cover right there.
Absolutely.
Oh, I would sit and drink fancy tea looking at that.
And that's saying a
And
lot
that's
because
saying a lot.
anytime I'm drinking tea, Austin says, "Yuck, Caroline."
Like, nah, give me the Folgers Country Blend. It's all I need. But that is magical, Sam. Good work, buddy.
It's yeah.
I know. I remember you telling me all them tulips you planted. Well, hey, that work paid off, buddy. It paid off, and that
That's
wood
an Aussie
structure
too, and they're very smart.
Yeah,
Very
It looks-
nice.
Oh, that dog is cool. I love that dog, and I love Sam. Sam, you're doing great, bud. I love it.
Wow, look at the lanterns inside.
Yes,
you know
that's just creative. That's art.
yeah.
the,
Sam, have
the
a
lantern
backyard
outside
party.
even.
Yeah, Sam, I'll
Invite
come
us.
with.
Yeah, I'll
Look
come.
at them.
Austin will drink tea.
Tulips just reaching for that morning sun,
Loving it, pure
Yeah.
white. Oh, it's so
or it
good.
could be afternoon. I
Either
don't know when
way,
you took
That's
this.
morning.
Who cares when the sun's
that's
hitting them?
morning.
They're magic.
Morning glory
It
right
is
there.
gorgeous. But we will put these photos up on our Instagram and Facebook. And if you want to send in photos of your garden that you're proud of, or if you're having issues with something and you want us to take a look, gardeninginsideout@gmail.com is the email address to send those to.
We
I'm
love
getting
it.
notification that the live video is ended on Facebook. I don't know if that's true or not.
We did have a little error around
Okay.
8:30, but
Okay.
It's already 8:30.
we're still running.
I know this show's going
Very
through.
good.
All right, let's get back on our question train, y'all.
Okay.
A good tree recommendation that is native, good for the environment, and pretty.
Okay. You know what? We just talked about serviceberry. Why not go back to that?
Oh.
Hey, it's a native option. It produces fruit. It's good for the birds. It's good for you if you're able to get to them before the birds. It's not a huge growing tree. Flowers
And if you can
beautifully.
say Amelanchier,
Yeah.
What?
that's the
Amelanchier.
botanical name, Amelanchier.
As Ben would say, I'm a lawn chair.
Amelanchier.
Ben says all
Ben.
sorts of funny words. Shout out, Ben. How you doing? But yeah, hey, why not serviceberry? Check it out, y'all. We've got a good selection of them. They're typically a multi-stem tree, kind of shrubby-ish looking tree. We sell them when it's on a single stem to a canopy, if you prefer that look, as I do. And hey, why not, y'all? It's a fruit-bearing tree no one even thinks about. Blooms pure white. Talk to Adam Chapman out here. He's been here 24 years. He grows serviceberry. He knows
You
what
talked
to do.
about
grow.
red buds as well.
Hey,
guys.
red buds for
Man.
beauty. Why not?
That's
Did
what
I-
I was thinking you were going to say.
Did I miss you talking about the fall color too?
Oh, serviceberry fall color.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Serviceberry fall color.
It's really pretty.
Like a torch?
Hey,
Oh,
we've got
it's-
some live questions in, so let's go ahead and
Yes.
get to those. Can I put creeping phlox or candy tuft at the base of my downspouts to keep the mulch from washing out?
Oh, no.
That sounds a little tricky.
That
Might be
doesn't
too
sound
much
good.
water
Yeah.
there.
They don't want wet, really, especially a constant wet. Not
You know
that it
what
would
could
be
probably
constant
take
wet.
that?
That's,
Creeping Jenny.
that's not neglect. That's abuse.
No, that's a good point. Caroline just said, like, creeping Jenny would probably take that better, and that's a good perennial around here. That's got this, golden foliage that can handle wet feet a lot better. Check that one out.
Vinca can even
Vinca minor
handle.
can do it as well. So
I'll
there's
just-
other options. I'm sorry, but the creeping phlox probably ain't going to work. It kind of likes it high and dry.
I'll just jump in here.
Jump
real
in,
quick
Tyler, with the-
and say that I planted Father Gila, a smaller variety. I think that's Blue
Shadow.
Mist. Which one's the smaller one? Blue Mist or Blue Shadow?
Blue Shadow is the one.
Blue Shadow. I planted a Blue Shadow next to the drain on my HVAC because it likes it a little bit moist, and it's doing really great. And then I planted golden Alexander next to it, which is a perennial, kind of a sun perennial, right underneath the drain of my HVAC, and it has just come back. It did not look good last year because of the water, but it came back.
Yeah, Itea is another very water tolerant shrub. So there's the good thing about coming out to see us is that
You got it.
we try to have
And those are
gardening
native.
plants that kind of cover every situation. So just because you like something, it doesn't mean you can't use it, but you might not be able to use it in the exact spot you're thinking about. So that's where, if you come with some photographs and have a few questions, we can help you.
Do you
Yes,
make
we
sure that on those ITs that they come with all the parts?
Oh, they come with all the parts.
I mean,
and the
all the
assembly
bolts,
sheet.
all
I
the
think you're
screws.
confusing that with IKEA.
It happens, Josh.
Maybe.
It's okay. Hey, we got some more live questions in. Hi, should I be seeing any activity from in-ground figs yet? I have brown turkey and black mission in Middle Tennessee. Mine
What's
are
yours doing, David?
nothing.
Mine looks like dead sticks, and
That's a good
typically-
thing.
And it
So do
will
mine.
probably look that way until I'm going to say perhaps as late as mid-May. So don't do anything. I mean, if you just got to do something, you could start cutting it back. I promise you, it's got dead wood. I want to guess this year it's going to be dead down to about 8 inches.
At
'Cause
least.
that's the depth of the snow that pretty much all of us had back during the 17th of January when we had below zero temperature. So I've got a big one at my house, and so there will be no early fig crop this year.
No.
But there will be a very bountiful late crop.
My brown
Nice.
turkey dies back to the ground every single year.
Yeah, now if you plant them out in the yard, you
Yes.
can pretty much be assured
Yes,
of that.
that's
Now,
what's
mine
gonna-
is kind of near the portico share of the house where it gets a little
Gesundheit.
insulative protection, but it's not enough when we have these below zero winters, and we've had those the last 2 years. Not dead, but it's going to be late coming out.
Yeah, mine's always from the ground.
Yep.
All right.
If you got a
is-
courtyard, put a fig in it.
Yeah.
Is there a flowering vine that will do well in heavy shade?
Yeah, there are. I mean, we sell Boston ivy running up a trellis. That does totally fine in plenty
Is
of
that
shade.
flowering though?
He does flower, but you don't notice. You're right. I'm
I know. You're not stupid. You just didn't hear that full question.
I've actually seen clematis in pretty heavy shade. My buddy Shane Burton, who used to work here, great horticulturalist, he had clematis in one of them in full shade, one of them in full sun. I observed both of them in flower at the same time. So
Wow.
clematis actually can handle some shade. Evergreen clematis can handle some shade.
By the way, shout out to Shane again. He's the general manager over at JVI Secret Gardens, and they're a seller of Earth Mix garden products. So we're
Nice.
always glad to give them a shout out. Encourage you to go by and visit them. They're great folks.
If you need
Yeah.
aquatic plants, boom. They
Yes.
are
Yes.
excellent for that.
Yeah, Shane's a good guy to talk to too. Go out and see him. But
Go
yeah,
out and say
try
hi.
some. I mean, but honestly, let's think about it. Like most vines, like they have to climb something to reach for the sun. Like that's the whole point of them to climb. So really, most of them can handle some shade. Okay, and a lot of them flower. So climbing hydrangea comes to mind. It's not like a really predictable flower every year, but it'll flower some years and it handles shade well.
And when it does flower, it flowers profusely.
There's
quite a
options. Come out. We'll
there
chat.
are.
You know
Talk
what?
about
Can we take a little break here for just a
Okay.
moment? Let's talk about where you can come seek out some options, and quite a lot of options, as a matter of fact, here at Bates Nursery and Garden Center, where we've been beautifying Nashville since 1932. This is our 92nd year of business, and my grandmother, you see right there, she was the founder. And
Bessie.
that was back over on 26th in Charlotte. And little could she know that back in the day that it would become what it is today. A little, I guess, could any of us know, but we've been very fortunate. We've found our spot here in the Nashville area, and we really are serious year-round horticulturalists. And no matter what your spot is or whatever issue you may have experienced in your gardening efforts, we're here to try to help you with that. And we're also here to provide a solution for plants that are likely to do well in that area. And that's really what separates what we do from many, in that we don't sell anything else except plants and the things that help you to do well with them. So whether it's Earth Mix Garden products or any of our extensive selection of trees, shrubs, ground covers, and that in the trees, it could be shade, it could be ornamental, they could be fruit bearing.
Every kind of espoma product that there is on the planet up there in the garden.
All of those, we really try to do it with an organic approach. So you're not going to find a bunch of chemicals stocked up here that are not organic approved. So we're really going to try to help you do your gardening with the most gentle touch possible and the most prolific. So come on out and see us. We've been beautifying, like I said, since 1932. We're conveniently located a mile north of Briley Parkway, exit 19 on Whites Creek Pike. It's just minutes from Rivergate, Opry Mills, Nashville West, downtown Nashville. And no matter where you're coming from, Josh, it's worth the drive from anywhere. I've talked with a gentleman who's a long time, actually used to work for me, for my dad, actually, back in the 80s. And he and his wife have made the drive out from Murfreesboro twice in the last year. So, we really appreciate people who take the time to come out and see us. We really believe you'll find it's worthwhile. We do have quite a selection of things that are, I would call them, at this stage of the game, you proceed with caution plants. That would be the annuals. That would be tropicals. We've got a great selection of them, but you don't want to go straight outside with them and feel like you're committed and you're not going to have to do anything else. You check the weather. Coming up towards the end of next week, it's going to be cool again. So be mindful. We want you to have success. We don't want you to have to plant tomatoes 3 or 4 times. Just be patient. You may have to put them in a larger container and give them a little rest, And also, if you're interested, I do a weekly newsletter. And if you just scroll down the page there, you can put your name and address and your email and agree to receive it. And that'll come to you every week. And, in honor of the April Fool's Spirit coming up on Monday, shared a little tale that I participated with. I was the sole participant back in the day where there was you just have to read it.
If you don't take anything from this spot, you need to subscribe to the newsletter. It is worth your time. Once a week on Thursday afternoon, you will be thrilled, folks. And this week's was particularly one of the good ones.
I'm always gratified with the number of people I talk to every week who are very kind to say many complimentary things. So thank you for that. Thank you for reading it. And thank you for supporting us here at Bates Nursery and Garden Center, beautifying Nashville since 1932. Come out and see us. And I think that's long enough on that. So we're going to move along now.
All right.
All right, let's talk about what you can get here.
What's in room with Caroline?
Yeah, so we already talked about how we got our big tropical shipment in, and we brought a little bit, just one type of plant that we kind of filled
yesterday was nuts.
Yesterday was insane, y'all. We were busy. We had so many trucks come in, but we've got Ruelia under the TV and down in front, also called Mexican petunia.
You know what they call them in Mexico?
What?
Petunias.
Oh, there it is. I really love this plant, and I've never planted it here, but I have had a lot of people tell me that it comes back and it kind of can take over a little bit. I know it can reseed, but also some people have said it just comes back from the original plant.
Does.
So be mindful of that. But I mean, look at it. It's just stunning. It's a little shrub.
It's a great pot plant.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great pot plant. And we
What do
have
they call
quite
them in
a few.
Mexico?
They just call it there probably is some other name. They don't consider it to be a petunia. I think that's some lay name. They don't really call it a petunia in Mexico.
But I would think that container would be great for these.
Yeah, it would be really, really nice. They are selling pretty quickly. We put some out in front and they all sold immediately. Austin brought them up and was like, display out the door right away. And I do have to say, normally I would go to the corners, but in all of the excitement yesterday, we
forgot our corners.
Oh, boy.
Which was going to be these stunning giant red bananas. I mean, we had a plan, but we just all kept getting snagged, kept getting called. And I got in right when the broadcast started. And I looked at Austin and I pointed to the corners and I was like, we forgot them.
Fail.
So just imagine some maroon green, beautiful, big giant bananas
We've
that
got
play
'em.
off of some of these colors. We have them, they're just not in here. So that's what's missing in those corners. And then on Miss Lazy Susan over here, we've already talked about her a little bit, but we've got this columbine, and this is early bird yellow and purple. So look
Stunning.
at that.
God.
If you don't grow columbine, get to the nursery today and get it.
There you
Mine
go,
is
black.
mine is blooming. Yep, we got a black screen right now.
Every time I try and handle the
There it
camera.
is.
So mine is blooming right now. It's just starting to open. I have just it's a little orange one that's not quite as showy as this one, but I love it. It slowly spreads. It's great. And then down in front, Austin already talked about how we brought some woodland phlox in today. If you've noticed, we've gone with the purple theme. That's all on Austin.
You know,
I
when
got
Josh goes to football games, that's the line he hears a lot. Down in front.
down in front.
Yeah.
So we've got that woodland phlox, super cute, like Austin talked about.
Seeds
It's
are
in bloom
optional.
right now. And then we've got some variegated Jacob's ladder in. When I walked into
Wow.
the studio and I
Stunning.
saw that yesterday, I was like, what is that? I need to know, and I might need to have it. Look at those little jazz fingers
Truly
right there.
dainty.
Yes.
And then Austin was very excited about this hydrangea. It's the last we're going to talk about today. It's Blue Enchantress. And we have quite a few in that we got in from Monrovia. So this is a Monrovia. Oh, almost spilled my coffee while I was going for it. Oh, and now we're on another camera.
I was just trying to highlight it.
It's right there. That's
It's
actually
right
three
there.
plants.
Yeah.
3 plants.
That's
mounted.
actually three.
It's
The
a-
black stems. That's
Austin,
what I love.
what was
about it.
your sound effect when you came in and you were like, Tyler, can I just put him in a triangle and just go like?
I just wanted to like get them in there. Like it was like slam them in.
He was like, can I give him a whoop?
Tyler's always on me and Caroline about like stuff that's too tall to where we would like cover people's faces and stuff. And I'm like, Tyler, come on, I need these hydrangeas. Let me just slam them together.
Let
I
me just
swear
give
it'll
him
work.
You
give him
slammed
the
them together,
boom.
and they are perfect.
Yep. It
You
looks
did find me
awesome.
on the lot, and you're like, Caroline, do you think these are too tall? Because we need to bring them in. And I said, you know what? Give it a try. Let's do it.
We did it.
But that's what we've got in room today. Again, just a small sampling. We got a lot of Monrovia in. We've got our tropicals. We have a lot of perennials. I mean, come on out.
Yeah, I was
gonna
about
be
to say
busy today.
The
but
perennial
well worth
game.
it.
The perennial game is strong this week. It was tropicals, perennials.
Yes.
Our perennial tables are full and showing color, y'all. Come out and see it.
Now the columbines, are they perennial?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what are the light requirements on them?
They like shade. So
Okay.
mine get a little bit of direct sunlight in the morning, but mine are loving being in the shade. They can tolerate
They
some
can tolerate
sun,
some,
but
yeah.
I wouldn't put them in any hot afternoon sun.
They're very woodlandy.
Yes.
They'll cook.
They will cook
All right.
very
want that.
quickly. Let's get back to questions, y'all. All right, we're going to talk about a teddy bear magnolia. It is being attacked with a fungal issue, they say. It has brown leaves that are dropping like crazy. Any ideas?
Okay, this presents like a fungus and it looks like a fungus, but I bet it's not. Magnolias look like they're spotty and yuck, but it was from the cold weather this year that
Yep.
dipped down to zero. Their cold damage really, really resembles fungal issues, and they will drop off, and it is happening. And I've noticed this, especially with teddy bear. It's probably the least hardy of the southern magnolias that we sell here. Can it live here just fine? Yes. But it is going to see some issues, especially when we dip down to those zeros and negatives. So that's what it's showing. I've seen this already. At least 3 or 4 different people have shown me pictures of theirs, and it's presenting the same way.
Yeah, and it will do dropouts right in the foliage. It does. I can understand completely why it appears that it is some kind of a fungal thing, but it's just the way that the necrosis or the dieback occurs. It
Yeah.
doesn't all. The whole leaf doesn't necessarily die. It's just spots it, and then the leaf dies or drops off. So, yeah, it's just part of the magnolia thing you got to endure.
Wow.
Yeah,
They'll
we have
be
to-
back out.
They will be back out. Just got to go through that ugly phase for a minute, but it'll reshoot. I guarantee it will.
It'll be okay.
I've got one in the side yard over here next door to the garden center that has been there for many, many years, and it's kind of this toasty brown look.
Yeah.
But it's completely okay. It's as soon as it flushes, which is going to be rather quickly, it will transform completely. It's what you get with magnolias, particularly when we have some harsh winter weather, and we've had that the last couple of winters.
Yes, we have. Speaking of harsh winter weather, this might be the reason for our next question. Looks like my potted roses are not coming back this spring. Any idea why?
Potted.
Someone in this
Join
room is
the
going
club.
through the same
really?
thing.
Annoying. I've got a potted rose that was beautiful all last year. It's dead. Every single cane is black and dead, y'all. Look, it's above the ground. It's less hardy when they're above the ground. And it's just one of those annoyances in gardening. It happens, but the weather happened, you know?
And one of the things that people need to be mindful of when you're considering planting something in a container that's going to stay out year-round above ground is that you effectively lose 2 hardiness zones.
Well, so like would be a 9A here in Middle Tennessee?
Rose wouldn't be that, but if it is a zone 6, it becomes a zone 8 plant, effectively. So if you're going to put that in a container, try to select something that's at least like we're zone 7 typically, something that is at least a zone 5 or 4.
Right.
And that will give you a much better chance. I had someone write in about an evergreen clematis yesterday. And, that's a zone 7 straight up. We had zone 6 winter. It's, prognosis is not good.
No.
And it's a common problem. So try to give yourself a cushion of at least 2 hardiness zones. And that's assuming you don't have anything that's extreme weather. One more would be good. So in the Middle Tennessee area, I would try to go with zone 4 hardy plants.
Well, don't they, up above the Mason-Dixon line, the rosarians often bury their rose bushes and they put cones over the top of them, all kinds of different practices in the colder climes.
And the cones are not normally necessary in this part of the world, but when you have the root system above the ground, if you notice, we move plants inside in the winter, and the reason for that is to give the roots protection. It's not really for the top so much.
Well, the hybrid teas are actually grafted, right?
That was the point I was going to make. Is it really depends on what rose you're growing. Like Caroline grows a rose called Carefree Wonder, and it's a very
amazing.
easy
Miriam
rose.
grows that rose too. Shout out Miriam, love you.
And that one is a non-grafted rose. So what you get down below is exactly what you're going to get on top. So if you've got a non-grafted rose, then wait it out for your rose. You'll probably see new sprouts come up from the ground, and it'll be true to type. Now, if it is a grafted rose, then it will not be true to type, and it will be a different rose altogether, which happened to me last year, and I've got 4 different roses that are up, and the ones I told you I cut back earlier, they're great, but they're going to come back as this like kind of dusky red flower. It's
some people
It's
like
just more
those
like a tea
when
rose type of thing.
Hey, they live. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Y'all all go get Carefree Wonder. That rose is nonstop.
It's a good rose.
We got a nice compliment in on our Bates Facebook page. They say, I live in Cedar Grove, West Tennessee, and my husband and I go on what we call nursery crawls. And we come out at least once a month or even more in the off season and have for years. You guys are by far the best for stock selection and knowledge.
Well, very kind
they
words.
went on a little bit longer, but thank you so much for that compliment.
Yeah, we're all a little bit biased, but here is the, as a customer of Bates, I will tell you there are a lot of very, very good nurseries in Middle Tennessee.
We're kind of known for that.
But Bates is the best.
One woman,
no kidding, guys.
Yeah.
It's worth the drive from anywhere.
We had a guest yesterday literally walking up. She needed to go to the bathroom. She was like, I'm just looking at plants, but I need to go find the bathroom. She was like, this is the best nursery I've ever seen. She like literally said it like that, like very excited. She had never been here before. And I'm like, yeah, baby.
Well, it made her have to go.
Yeah,
She was
she
looking
got
at plants
so
too long.
excited.
I call that the Bates effect.
Yeah.
There's just something in the air.
I do have to say, I feel like part of what makes this nursery, Bates Nursery, so great is that everyone who works here is so passionate about plants and just loves being here. And you can really tell when you walk in and you start asking us questions, like we want to stand there and talk to you about problems you're having or designs or just any questions. We can talk about them all day.
And you're not going to see things like I saw this morning. I had to go to the restroom too. I don't know if it must be true.
It just happens.
The Bates effect. Walking towards the garden center, there are a couple of patio blood good acers attached to a trellis that are amazing out there right up front.
Yeah, they're like maple walls.
I mean, it is. It's. I've never seen anything like that.
In the right spot, those can be stunning.
Okay, but
Maple
they're going to
walls.
get big, though, aren't they? A blood good is fairly
Well,
large.
yeah, but
acer.
they don't grow that fast. I mean,
Okay.
if you've got a big wall, it's one of those things that,
Unbelievable, folks.
being on a trellis like that, it really has just begun the process for you, where you will extend those limbs on up onto the house as it continues to grow. If you really want to keep that look, and if you're buying one of those, I suspect you do want to.
But you want to move that one back a little bit from the house. You want to pull it out towards the yard. I would be guessing. Maybe
If you've got a big wall, I would go directly against it. That would be my approach.
Some of these zero lot lines and some of these narrow lot lines.
Well, again, it's one of those things that you need to be apprised of what its growth habit's going to be, and have the right spot. There, we don't buy a whole bunch of those because we realize that the opportunities across the board are limited. It's a very specific use type of maple.
Absolutely. It's worth the drive just to come see it. I'm telling you.
Come on out.
It is. It really is. It's cool.
Yeah. Right. We got a few more questions to get in. Is there such thing as a dwarf dogwood that can take full summer sun?
So most dogwoods, let's just be clear, are somewhat dwarf trees anyway. I mean, like even at full maturity, we're talking maybe 20 foot, 25 at best probably. So, I mean, they're kind of dwarf in general, and they're very, very slow to grow. Now, the Kusa type dogwoods, this is our more, say, Chinese dogwood, people call them, and they're a little bit different than our natives around here, but they live in the full sun just fine. Much different growth habit. They're very much shrubby in habit. They don't get crazy big. They're more like 12, 15 eventually, and that's a big one. And they bloom after the leaves emerge, so you'll see white amongst the green. The Kusa type dogwoods are probably best for that full sun. Though, as dogwoods get big, they actually do prefer full sun, and they're the showiest whenever they're in full sun as they age.
And if you've ever driven by a growing operation, a growing nursery, you will notice that they're growing in the middle of a field.
Yes.
They are not growing under shade. They're out in the full sun, so they can handle the sun even at a young age. They might prefer to have some shade, but they certainly will adapt to it, and they are commonly in nature found along the woodland the margins of the woodland area, and I think that's mostly due to their size that they get to. Those in redbuds both, they don't get so big, so they get crowded out to the edges. That's where they can grow.
That's a great point. They can be shade tolerant. Dogwoods can certainly grow in the woods. Redbuds exactly the same. But do they want to be there for the biggest show? No. Full sun gives you the best show.
Yeah. And you're not going to get a lot of flowers.
Exactly. They're sparse, and they get tall and leggy and rangy, and that's what they do in the shade because they're reaching. In the full sun, they get this perfect crown of beautiful white blooms, and they got to have sun for that. So plant a dogwood in the sun. It's fine.
And they grow really slow.
Yeah, they're very slow.
Okay.
Very.
So slow. Okay, recommendations for plants that will climb in a shady area, looking for more privacy.
Okay, we kind of already talked about that. The vines for the shade.
We did a little bit.
And a lot of vines can handle shade, like most
crossvine.
of them. Crossvine can handle shade. Clematis can handle shade. There's a number of plants that can climb.
And for privacy, crossvine.
There you go.
It's going to hold those leaves
Caroline's
for the most
crossvine.
part. Caroline's crossvine, that's right. Y'all know how I feel about it. I love it so much. All right, how do I mulch beds that have seeds? I do not want to smother them. What would you do?
Probably wait till they germinate and then mulch. I would assume. I mean, honestly,
them get up a little bit.
Yeah, let them get up and then just carefully mulch around them would be probably my suggestion. I mean, because you don't want to bury them with 3 inches of mulch, and then you probably won't see great germination if you do that. So wait till they're up and then mulch it. Just be patient.
Okay. Best potted plants for minimal sun.
I know what you would say.
What would I say?
Plum you.
Oh, yeah, that is a great one. I didn't know what I was going to say.
Also, our fern selection is on point, y'all.
Yeah.
Fern selection
But
on
plum
point.
yew looks like a fern, y'all. In the winter, you can have a fern out all year. Not really a fern, but gives that look.
Yep.
But yeah, ferns are super easy too. And our Bostons are, like Miriam said, the macho ferns, y'all. They're awesome.
They are. They're big and beautiful.
That music means what?
It means it's time to end this edition of Gardening Inside Out.
I want to keep going.
Yeah, it's okay. You can keep going.
2 hours.
We'll just come back next week.
Okay, we can do that. Hey, happy Easter, everybody, and be safe.
we're open
out
all
there.
weekend, by the way, so
good
come
day.
see us.
Come out and get some Boston ferns. Take a look at that blood good on the trellis. It's so cool. But hey, for everybody here at Gardening Inside Out, we appreciate you joining us Saturday mornings. Hey, you can watch the podcast anywhere you subscribe.
Or
Or just listen.
Yeah,
listen
you
to
listen to them,
It's a
watch
little
them.
static if you watch it.
It's okay, you can do it, but you can pull us down every day because we're on YouTube and you can see us anywhere. Wherever you get your podcast, that's the place to see it. Hey, once again, we thank you for being here. We'll see you next Saturday morning for Gardening Inside Out.
Shout out, Trav, man. It's your birthday. Love you, brother.
Hey.
It's my little brother. Happy birthday.